You are about to ask an AI to build you something. Before you type the prompt, I want you to close the chat. Not forever, just for about 15 minutes. If you are new here, the short version of what came before. In the last series, I tested one claim across 16 episodes, that software engineering is 7 problems no tool has ever solved, and that AI, the most aggressive tool shift in the field's history, has not broken one of them. The finale sorted the 7 by what AI actually does to each, and 3 came out promoted, working out what is actually wanted, knowing whether it works, deciding what is worth building at all. Intent, verification, value judgment, they stop being part of the job and become the job. That series was the argument, this one is the training. 12 episodes, 1 technique per episode, each with the evidence that it works, a worked example on a real feature, an exercise you can run this week, and a way to know whether you did it right. Welcome to the new job. Start with why the 15 minutes matter. In 2025, Stack Overflow asked tens of thousands of developers about AI. 84% use it or plan to. And the number one frustration, named by 2/3 of them, is output that is almost right, but not quite. You have felt this, the login flow is there, and the accountants can edit the ledger. Almost right is the intent gap wearing new clothes, and the last series called it problem number 1, humans do not know exactly what they want, and machines require exactness. Do not expect the machines to close the gap for you. In 2026, 2 benchmark studies fed deliberately ambiguous requirements to every major model, and every model degraded. The same vague request produced functionally different programs run to run, and the models could not detect the ambiguity, could not resolve it, and mostly did not ask. The only participant in that conversation who can notice the vagueness is you. So, the first technique, and it is deliberately unglamorous, the spec before the prompt. Before you ask for anything that matters, you write 1 page under 5 headings. Goal, the change in the world, in 1 sentence. Non-goals, the things this deliberately does not do, because whatever you leave unsaid, the model will decide for you. Edge cases, the places where the rules bend. Examples, real inputs with real outputs, including at least 1 marked never this. And acceptance checks, the things you will actually look at before calling it done. 1 warning before we use it, because this advice has a famous failure mode. A team in France watched a popular spec toolkit produce 1,300 lines, across 8 files, to specify displaying the current date. That is not precision, that is paperwork with confidence. And the research backs the distinction. A separate study found that stripping detail out of well-structured prompts often changed nothing, and occasionally helped, because structure carries intent better than volume does. Precise does not mean long, it means hard to satisfy wrongly. Now meet the feature this whole series will live with. A reply suggester for a support inbox. A ticket arrives, the machine drafts an answer, a human agent decides what to do with it. We will spec it today, and over the coming episodes we will read its code, build its oracles, wire its evil harness, give it a review budget, and write the conditions of its death in advance. And in the finale we will check those conditions against a number and execute the verdict, whichever way it lands. Here is the prompt most people would type. Build an AI that suggests replies to support tickets. Now watch everything it does not say. Does it send, or does it draft? Which tickets is it forbidden to touch? The legal threat, the card number sitting in plain text, the ticket written in a language nobody on shift can read. None of that was said, so all of it is now the model's decision, and the model will decide something, confidently. Now the spec version, the parts that matter. Goal, cut agent handling time by drafting replies an agent can send with light edits. Non-goals, it never sends anything, it never promises refunds or compensation, it never states policy it cannot cite. Edge cases, legal threats get no draft at all, they get routed to a human. Non-English tickets get detected and handed to the right queue. Card numbers are redacted before the model ever sees the text. Examples, a refund request with the correct, grounded reply, and beneath it the counterexample, an apologetic draft promising a refund. Our policy does not offer, marked never this. Acceptance checks, on 50 saved tickets, agents accept or lightly edit at least an agreed share of drafts, and no draft states policy that is not in the knowledge base. 11 lines, not 1,300, and every line is there because getting it wrong costs money or trust. Now the part that makes this a technique instead of advice. The last series ended this band with one instruction: write a specification precise enough that a machine cannot satisfy it wrongly. So test exactly that, literally, by handing your spec to a model with one instruction: satisfy this wrongly. Obey every written word and still build the wrong thing. The first time, it will find a way in, and that is not the model being clever. That is a leak, found at rehearsal prices instead of production prices. Patch the spec and run it again. When the model can no longer be compliant and wrong at the same time, you have a specification. 15 minutes, most weeks, once the habit sets. The exercise is that check, run on the next real thing you build. The artifact is the one-page spec template, linked below with this episode's receipts. And you will know it worked when the wrongly instruction comes back empty-handed. Next episode, the sharpest heading on that page. Examples, and why 3 good rows beat 3 paragraphs of adjectives. The clearest description of this era is still the one the last series earned: when writing the code stops being the job, saying precisely what should exist becomes it. That is the new job. Let us learn it properly.